I usually say as an astrologer, astrology is a self-awareness tool. It's a symbolic language. It's not a form of worship. In fact, it predates a lot of systems that we have right now. I would also say that your sun is how you shine throughout in your lifetime, how you shine in this lifetime.
Really?
Yes.
Hello, beautiful souls. Welcome to the Art of Being, a sacred space where we dive into spirituality, healing, manifestation, and all the magic of becoming.
We explore what it means to truly live, to grow, to heal, and to be in this ever-evolving dance between our humanness and our higher selves.
I am Bamzi, a mindset and manifestation coach.
And I'm Joy, a wellness coach. We're so glad you're here. Take a deep breath, settle in, and let's journey together.
Welcome back, beautiful soul. Today, I'm so excited to have an astrologer with me in the studio. I've been into astrology for about maybe 6 or 7 years, but I'd like to say that most of the time I'm like a baby or a toddler when it comes to astrology. So like I know bits here and there, but of course I'm not a professional. I've had readings done for me before. And I'm always checking, like, which planet is influencing me. Like, whenever I'm feeling emotional, I'm always going to this app that I use to check, like, what's going on. But I've never actually had a conversation with a professional astrologer. And so today I'm so excited to have Ruby in the studio. She's an evolutionary astrology. I know a little bit of what that means, but she's going to tell us because, you know, she's here. Welcome to the Art of Being, Ruby. It's so amazing to have you here.
Hi, Bamzi.
Hi.
How are you?
Good.
Thank you for having me here.
Yeah, I'm so
nice.
glad that you could make it.
So glad. So nice for you to invite me.
Yeah,
let's have a convo.
Yeah, let's go with the flow.
Yes.
Okay, so we were talking off camera and we realized that we're both Pisces rising.
Imagine.
Right? You might be wondering what that is. Yeah. She's going to talk about it a little bit. So Ruby, so I just wanted to understand like a little bit about your background in terms of like how did you get into astrology? Like what drew you to astrology?
Okay. So my story would start way back. I'd say even when I was young.
Oh.
And I used to be so interested on the back of the newspapers and magazines. And they used to talk about horoscopes. I never used to pay much attention to it, but later on I was like, Cancer. I can see my birthdays there, and then they say the themes are here. But anyway, didn't pay much attention to it. And then I got into university. And from there, I was studying my undergraduate in psychology. And there was a certain unit when I was starting out called History of Psychology. And from there, they were talking about, the history of the Greeks, the philosophers, Socrates, Plato, Ptolemy, all that, all the 9 yards. And there was a part when there was a renaissance of knowledge, everything around. They were talking about pseudosciences, and astrology happened to be there. Didn't pay much attention to it, but that was the time when things started to shift around the world. Pop culture was starting to grow, and from there I was like, I was seeking to know myself more. Let me just say, and I was looking for ways that were outside of what I had been taught. And with psychology, of course, studying the human mind, I went back to what I knew and stumbled again upon astrology. And from there, I started learning slowly by slowly. I first learned my sun, the characteristics, and like, we're like this, just the surface level. And then from there, as I was continuing with my undergraduate, I slowly started learning, slowly by slowly, practicing with friends, telling them, when is your birthday? And then I think from there, as life continued, I finished school. Again, more self-awareness was continuing. Astrology was my guide so far. And it has brought me here to talk to you today. Yes.
Oh my gosh, I love that. To me, it sounds like every single time, even if you're studying psychology, you were being drawn, like there's a
Yeah.
part of you that kept bringing you to astrology.
Yes.
Right? And the
Yes.
fact that you started when you were younger, it
Yeah.
just sounds like what your soul wanted to do in this
True.
lifetime.
True. It
Yeah.
actually, I could see it from my chart, and it vindicated my study, my passion for it. And just to add on now, what also fueled that, there
Right.
was, when I was still studying psychology, there's one of the, I would say, one of the most renowned psychologists known as Carl Jung,
Yeah.
who was a psychologist, but also an astrologer.
astrologer, yeah.
In fact, he came up with a discipline known as astropsychology. Unfortunately, it didn't continue because at that time, psychology was still new. And as a scholar, if you wanted your discipline to continue, your apprentices would be the ones to continue it. But I
Yeah.
think there's a resurgence. If you want to, you can go about and do the astropsychology, which I would say is also a blend of what I do, because I've not kept my psychology aside. I've just blended it into astrology.
Yeah, I feel like
Yes.
that's even more useful because it's like you're bringing these two things
Two
and making
disciplines.
it
Yeah.
like an integrated
Yes.
practice.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yes.
I love that.
Yeah.
And what is evolutionary astrology?
Oh, so the name evolutionary astrology is, think about how you, Bamzi, as a soul. I usually tell people this is not your first rodeo.
I know that it's not mine. I know that it's something I know.
Several.
Yeah.
That's the reason why you would go to places, you feel some level of deja vu. You meet certain people.
You feel a familiarity.
A familiarity.
Or you
certain
get triggered.
Triggered, whether good or bad. Certain enemies, you wonder like, I just don't like this person. So I usually say evolutionary is the study of the soul, or astrology that studies your soul's paths across lifetimes. So I look at your past, your current, present, and how you can evolve to the future. Just it's not beneficial just for me to come and tell you, Bamzi, you're an X-sun
Right.
or a Y rising.
Yeah, that doesn't...
And
yeah.
I don't tell you how you can use those placements for
Right.
your benefit, for you to be the highest version of yourself.
Right.
So I would say my work as an evolutionary astrologer is to allow you to experience this lifetime in a way that you're the highest version of yourself.
I
Yes.
really love that.
Thank you.
I really love that because I feel like a lot of us actually struggle because we don't... You know, like I envy places like India.
Yeah.
Where, like, when a child is born,
Yeah.
they literally go to an astrologer or a numerologist.
True.
They get the chart read,
Yes.
which is able to then be a guide,
Yes.
right? To be
Yeah.
able to be like, okay, this child, like, this is going to be like a guidance
Yes.
for this.
Yeah.
Because of, like, it's able to tell the energy
True.
by, like, the time the child was born, and
Yeah.
even names.
Even
names, like,
names
they're
have
based,
a meaning. Yeah.
Exactly. The
Yeah.
names are based on, like, the numerology.
True.
Right, so I actually envy places like that because I feel like we really do lack that a lot here, and I feel like if we had that, then people wouldn't get lost.
Yeah.
You know,
Would
like you
feel,
go this way, like
Yeah.
you veer off further and further from your soul. You know,
Way to the
right,
Yeah.
right. I feel
Yeah.
like I wish, you know, and I feel like you could be that person that, you know, starts that type of thing.
Yes.
Are
Yes,
you
thank
already doing that?
I'm already doing that.
Yeah?
I help clients, navigate their paths in different ways. It could be you're coming to me in terms of, you say, Ruby, I feel lost in terms of what my purpose is. And I ask you, is your purpose in terms of career, in terms of the self, in terms of working on, past issues that you haven't worked on, for
Right.
example, like your emotions.
Right.
I can help you with that. So again, evolving is not just a matter of like the monetary or just being successful, because everything is tied together. How you feel, how you perceive yourself or others perceive you,
Right.
and also what you yearn to be.
Right.
I would say it's all tied together, and that's where I come in as an evolutionary astrologer to slowly guide you.
I actually really love that. And I think you mentioned some of it is like you can look at somebody's past lives.
Yes.
Past lives and be able to, because I feel like based on your past lives, there are like certain lessons you came to learn in this lifetime.
True.
So are you able to help somebody understand that these are your lessons in this lifetime?
Yes. In astrology, there's so many aspects within the system. Let me just say, if you've seen how a birth chart is, let me start with the definition for
Right.
those who don't know what astrology is completely.
Right.
So astrology is the study of the cosmic planets and the influence it has on the human experience. So let's take for example, the time you were born, the sky was at a different, it had its own, I would
Yes.
say, genetic makeup.
Like a blueprint.
A blueprint.
Yeah.
So if you were to take a snapshot of your soul, we would look at your birth chart. And that's what now I myself come in as Ruby to see, okay, you've reincarnated or you've come back to this realm. What are some of the lessons that you need to work on? I would look at certain placements like your Saturn. Saturn has a very significant, I would say, role when it comes to your past lives.
Yeah.
I would look at something called the stellium, of which we can speak about later on. I would look at things like even your rising, because your rising generates or drives the whole chart because it's in the first house. Yes.
Yeah, I love that. Okay, so I feel like because you talked about like the time you were born and like cosmically what was happening, right?
Yes.
Because usually like the rising is like this. The rising is so unique to you, right?
So unique.
So
Yes.
unique because it's like this is the time you were born and this is what was going on in the sky. I feel like for a lot of us, there are a lot of us that don't know the time that they were born. Like it's a common thing
It's
in
a
Kenya
common
where
thing,
they don't,
yeah.
right?
It's a
like
common thing.
the time of birth.
Yeah.
Was yours written?
Yes, it was written. Actually, I learned, although I'm not so sure in terms of like how you can get it. I coincidentally, and the universe has a very funny sense of, I would say funny, weird, eccentric way, humor-like kind of way. Because it's when I was now seriously taking my astrological journey, and I was going through like my documents, and I found like the tag for when you're usually born. They usually have that tag there,
Right.
and I found mine. Otherwise, I wouldn't know. I would just know, you were just born at night. So I feel like if you can go to the hospital and check the birth records.
There were a lot of people that were born at home. There were
Yeah,
so many
that's
people were
the
born
thing.
at home.
Yes, but the thing is, you can, as an astrologer, what you can do is, or what we usually do, we use 12 p.m. as the default time.
Or you can get a rectification, which is what I
Yes.
did.
Oh,
I
you did
got
it?
I got a
nice.
birth chart rectification in 2023, I think.
Nice.
Because I had an estimate of like my mom told me it was around at night. She gave me an estimate around 8 p.m. And then I stumbled upon like a person who can rectify a chart.
Oh,
Do you know
interesting.
Deborah Silverman?
Yeah,
She's
I know
like-
her. Oh, really?
No, it's not her, but like through her website.
Oh, through her website,
I
you
went
can.
through Deborah Silman's website, and she has a bunch of people. She was like, because she's extremely busy. She's
Oh,
like,
yeah,
okay, like,
she's well
and she
sorted
charges
out.
like $1,000 per hour, $1,000,
As she should.
not shillings. I wanted to
She
clarify that.
Yeah.
But she has a bunch of people that in her
Yeah.
website that she recommends to do like a rectification. So then I reached out to one of the women.
Okay.
And I was like, hey, I don't know my time of birth. And then she rectified my chart.
Ooh,
Yeah. All I had to
interesting.
do is like you document every single thing that has ever happened to you with the dates.
Oh.
So it's like, okay, I was born this date and date. And then on this date, I moved to this town.
Interesting.
Yeah, on this date, I lost my grandma. On this date, I lost my grandfather. On this date, I started my job. I went to university. I met my boyfriend. I met my partner. You write every single thing that
Every
has ever
single
happened.
thing.
Yeah, and especially
Interesting.
things that you consider major. Like if you say like even if like you hurt your knee and like twisted your ankle and whatever, you write that
That's
down.
so interesting. That's so
Yeah.
dope.
Yes. So like of course it's not things like I had a stomachache. It's not things like that.
Yeah, but
like,
significant.
yeah, things like
things.
significant things that have happened to you. You just document all of that and you send it to her.
That's so cool.
I know. And then she generated like a bunch of different times. And then I think like there were 3 rising signs that are like out of the realm of what I could be because I already suspected what I was because I was already like reading and digging into it. So I kind of suspected.
Yeah.
It's just that I didn't know the exact time of birth.
Oh.
And then And then she came back with 2 Pisces risings. One was like 7:15 and one was 7:55. And she read the 7:15, it didn't sound like me. And then the 7:55 one, which my mom had told me, it was like around 8 p.m.
Around, definitely.
Yeah. Yeah. So you can get a birth chart rectification.
Oh, that's so nice.
Yeah.
That's so
and
nice.
it gives you the time that you were born. Isn't that cool?
Yeah, that's so cool.
Yeah.
Because most people, unless you were born in the Western world where they have like the birth certificates,
Right.
the actual time, majority of us,
we don't get the time.
Yes.
Or like we were born at home and they're not busy writing the time. They're like,
I'm giving life, you know.
Yeah.
But I think for certain cultures, you can get an estimate to an extent if you have a certain name like Odhiambo,
really?
or Otieno.
Is that based on like a
Yes,
time
like I
of
think
birth?
Otieno is born at night.
Yeah, but like what time though?
Yeah, but at least you can narrow down, but which at least for them
At least it gives you
easier.
like a window.
Yes, it gives you like a window.
Yeah.
So even if you get the rectification, definitely you will feel like, this is the one. Yes.
Yeah.
That's so nice.
Yeah, I think like what validated the rectification is because I already suspected my rising, first of all. Knowing yourself.
Yeah, knowing yourself.
You know yourself, first of all.
Self-awareness.
And then if you get your parent to tell you it's around this time.
Yeah.
Right, and the rectification comes. And then it just like, it was like
it's
all...
comes together.
It all came together like really nicely.
Interesting,
Yeah.
interesting.
Yeah.
But I usually say as an astrologer, you might not know completely, but you feel. I will usually ask people like, what do you gravitate towards mostly in your life? Case in point, ourselves as Pisces rising, we would gravitate more towards spirituality, being in the air, in the clouds, in the oceans, all that.
Yeah.
So if I ask you just in general, like, what do you gravitate towards mostly? Like, do you gravitate towards spirituality, arts, creativity? Might go with Pisces rising. Let's say, for example, if you're more ambitious and you want to build a career, you're more on the structure side, you want to be, I'd say the leader, the boss, mostly Capricorn.
As
So that's like
as rising or like either sun or rising or even moon?
Yes, sun, rising or moon, but now in the case of now the rising, where we are trying to probably estimate.
Oh, the time of, okay.
Yeah.
Great. Yeah. Actually, now I feel like we're alluding to a lot of things, and people that don't understand astrology are going to be like, "What is this? What's the rising? What is the moon? What is the sun?" And so I want us to talk about that. Can you just break down that for us? And and in terms of like, okay, how do these major placements, like your big three, how do they affect you as a person? Like what does the rising? How is the rising? How does it show up? To like in a person, how what is the moon in charge of, and what is the sun in charge of? Because I feel like a lot of people just know the sun.
The sun.
They just know the sun because that's what they know the month of
the
that
day,
they were born, and that's
date.
the easiest, right?
That's the easiest, yeah.
But like, what are these major placements, and how do they?
The role they play.
How do they manifest? And using my example or using your example, let's use your example actually, because you can speak to your.
I can speak to mine.
Yeah, use your example then.
Okay, so starting off, when you start off with astrology and you're like curious about it and you want to learn more about, what it's all about, the first step is learning about your sun. So you're asked, what is your date of birth? Say, for example, it's 5th of June. 5th of June means that you're a Gemini. So Gemini starts from 21st of May to 22nd of June or 21st. Sometimes they usually confuse of either Gemini or Cancer, but that's the season. So when you're learning about your sun is your ego. It's who you are, your identity, what you aim to become in this lifetime. So just as how the sun is, because it's a planet, the sun is here to shine. So I would also say that your sun is how you shine throughout in your lifetime, how you shine in this lifetime.
Really?
Yes. Or how you want to shine.
So you being, was a Cancer sun?
Yes.
Cancer sun.
Yes.
How would that manifest in you in terms of like shining and the Cancer energy? Yeah.
So myself as a Cancer sun, I will shine through as being nurturing, being intuitive, being caring, being on the creative side, and also it's also tied to where it is placed. So the characteristics of now the Cancer sun would be seen in where it's placed in my chart.
In terms of where, in which house?
In which house now.
Okay, right.
So
okay.
let's say, for example, my Cancer sun is in the 10th house. It means my nurturing, caring, creative, intuitive side will manifest more on the career.
Right.
Or on my public image.
Right.
Or that's how people will perceive me, or what I'll be known for. I'll be known as Ruby, the intuitive, the caring, the creative.
You'll be like a
person.
mother figure.
I'll be
to
the
a lot of
mother
people.
figure. Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
Because the 10th house is the public image, the reputation, the legacy, what people will know you for example. Yours, for example, is Virgo sun. Okay, so Virgo sun shines mostly by being organized, structured, having a routine, or having a level of something that makes sense, something that is can be repeated and has a level of system. So wherever it is, wherever your sun is placed, that is where you shine mostly on the Virgo characteristics. Yes.
Cool. And so that's the sun. What about the rising then?
Yes. So again, on how when you're learning about astrology, you learn about the sun, moon, and rising. Let's say you've learned about the sun enough. So then you're like, okay, so I've heard about the moon. What is that about? So the moon is usually tied to our emotions. It is our emotional well-being, how we show up for ourselves, and how we want others to show up for us in general. So again, it's tied to the moon. Moon is very cyclical. It changes all the time, just as how our emotions are. So again, depending on what your moon is, that is how it manifests.
Right.
Case in point, if you have a Sagittarius moon, it means that your moon is very explorative, very philosophical, very to the point, straightforward. You speak what you think, and it just comes out as just one way. It doesn't go through, should I say this? Should I not say this? Let's say you have a Virgo moon. Your moon, you analyze your emotions. You're like, okay, I know this is how I'm feeling. Let me go sort them out for a while and then come back. You prefer your emotional well-being, to be in a structured way. Case in point, give me an example of another
Scorpio moon. Let's go there.
If it's a Scorpio moon, it means that you are very intense with your emotions, hidden and very. It will take a lot for you to show, but at the same time, there's an intensity that other people don't see.
They don't see at all.
They don't see, but you're like, guys, help me.
And people, actually, it's so interesting because I tell people this all the time. There are a lot of people that don't think that I have emotions or I'm emotional.
Yes.
But they don't understand that it's so private.
It's so private.
The intensity of
it. Because that's the scorpionic nature. That is the scorpionic nature of your moon. It's hidden, but it's intense.
Whew.
Just as how the stereotype or the archetype of what a Scorpio is.
Right.
Yes.
Yeah.
So, and then once you've learned about how your emotional well-being manifests or navigates, you go to the rising. Rising, from the word itself, you rise. It comes from when you were born. It means what sign was the highest at that time when you were born. Or what it was at which sign, rather. So the rising means that if you were to awake at this certain point, what would people see about you?
Right.
You're like, okay, they see Bamzi, they see Ruby, first perception. Who is Bamzi? Who is Ruby? Even if it's just from the surface level, and then later on they're like, but when I first met you, you were just
I have
you were
that
just
all
all
the
over
time.
the place, and then I just realized, oh my God, you're
so structured.
Yeah, for example. And then you're like, I get that all the time. So I would say the rising is it's what people perceive of you.
Right.
But it's also what you gravitate towards your lifetime.
Yeah.
And the reason why we say this is because we usually find the rising in the first house, the house of self.
Yes.
So if it's in the first house, it means that it's what you aim towards. The self aims towards in this lifetime. Yes.
Yeah.
So once you have the big three, I would say you're good to go.
Right.
You can navigate.
Yeah.
The self-awareness a bit.
Yeah, that's so important to understand, because I feel like just understanding the self is the most important thing, right? Like understanding your shadows, understanding
shadows,
like
yeah.
your big lessons that you need to learn, understanding like what are the influencing factors.
Yeah.
Because as a person who has a Scorpio moon, I would tell you it's not the easiest thing, right?
But it's very transformative and very once you embrace it, because again we came back to this lifetime to learn certain lessons. You're given certain placements for a certain reason. So once you learn them or once you embrace them, you can actually alchemize it.
Yes, absolutely. I completely agree, because I've definitely seen that in my life. But I feel like before you understand that, it can be so hard.
It's so hard.
Because understanding and having language for something helps you make peace with that fact.
Yeah.
And you're able to accept it even more, because you're just like, okay, this is me.
This is me.
Like, what am I going to do?
It is what it is.
I'm just going to work with the energy, right? Like,
True.
That's all I can do.
Yeah.
Now I want to talk about the houses.
Okay.
But actually, because there's we have 12 houses, and I don't think we can go through all of that. I think it will take us like a lot of time. So I think I actually want to focus on the 3 things that people care about. Like, what do people care about? Money, career, and love. So that's what I want to talk about.
Okay.
So if somebody is, struggling with money, or like they just want to understand, like, why are they not good with money, or like just understand an aspect about money in their life, like what house should they look at, what planets are influential when it comes to money.
Let's just explain a little bit on the houses.
Right.
So again, from the birth chart, that is where we get the houses from. It's usually a pie chart, divided into 12 houses. Each is 30 degrees, roughly. So if you're starting from the first house, which we said is the rising, it's the house of self, we would look at the second house, which is the house of money. So the themes that would play out there are things like values, personal income, material possessions, self-esteem, and your stability. So say, for example, you have, usually when the second house is ruled by Taurus rules money and wealth. And that's where Taurus usually naturally sits. Yeah. So say, for example, you have an atypical, I usually say the people who have their birth chart just as Aries rising, Taurus.
And Taurus, it's like they have the natural.
They've come to this lifetime to just, like, I would say, kind of enjoy life because everything is sort of worked out for them. So even when they're reading the interpretations of their chart, it's quite direct, I would say.
Yeah.
So when you're looking at the second house, when you have positive, or we usually say benefic planets, benefic planets are like Venus, Jupiter, for example, because they are very relaxed. They are like, Venus, for example, is a planet of beauty, love, and aesthetics. Jupiter is a planet of abundance, optimism, expansion. If you have benefic planets in that house, you tend to have more abundance than the average person who would, for case in point, have like Saturn or Pluto.
Oh, if you have Saturn in the second house, does that mean you're doomed?
You're not doomed. I think Saturn, people tend to fear Saturn.
Yeah,
but I would say,
I'm afraid of Saturn.
Please don't be afraid, guys. It's like that friend you usually meet for the first time and they're like, but when you get to know them, they're sweet, but they come from a really, it's like, I would say tough love, but in a good way.
Right,
I usually say Saturn is like your cosmic parent. They usually say like, you will learn the lessons now so that I can give you the benefits.
Yeah.
So I would say if you have like benefic planets like Venus and Jupiter versus someone who has like malefic is now like the
Saturn
opposite.
and Mars,
yeah, Saturn, Mars, or even Pluto. Your experiences will be different from someone who has certain placements like that.
Right.
But at the same time, whichever you have, if you learn the placements and what it means, you alchemize.
Right.
I always encourage my clients
because it's not like
alchemize.
Putting you in a box, rather it's like understanding how it's influencing you and getting out of that.
Yes, true.
Okay.
I've had clients who have still Pluto in the second house, and they've been able to be transformative with the lessons they've gotten from there. In fact, I would say if you have malefic planets, for example, you create a certain discipline in yourself because you just don't think you're always going to get this stuff.
Yeah.
You create a sense of like, appreciating it and even making other people get it or helping others navigate it. So that is for money. Other aspects, it's also tied to now something deeper when we're talking about how now the second house interacts with other houses. So say, for example, the planets that are there are like antagonizing each other with another house. The themes would be there, yes, but there needs to be more work.
When you say antagonizing, do you mean like you're talking about like
Opposite,
squaring, opposite?
Yeah, I didn't want to use those.
It's definitely
So,
technical astrology.
But just as you're saying, like take case in point, like squares, opposites. If you have like certain placements that are in the second house squaring or oppositing, or just like a tug of war, the themes would be there, but again, it's more of like, I know what I need to do in this second house. Let me pull the energy towards this, even though this other side is making me do these other things.
Going back to what we were talking about earlier, that's why it's so important. You know what, like other countries like India do, because it's like if they go to a child, they pull up a child's birth chart and they look at it and they're like, okay, these are things that are influencing the child. How can we guide this child, right, based on like what's influencing their chart, you know, in order for them. And I feel like that's why like a lot of Indians are so successful.
True,
right?
Because they have
use
the blueprint.
Energy
they have
to their advantage.
Yeah, they use energy to their advantage. In fact, despite colonialism and all this, they've maintained that part of their culture, or majority of their culture.
Right.
So you find them just succeeding.
Right.
But at the same time, even I would say we are at an age of learning, age of information, age of Aquarius. So we're not yet lost. We're still there, and we have the opportunity to learn as long as you're willing to take that journey in self-awareness.
As long as you're open, because I feel like what a lot of people just dismiss it as like, oh, it's just that thing that girlies do. You know, they ask for your birth chart. Like they don't take it as like, this is actually, it's not predicting that you're doomed or anything like that, right? It's just telling you like certain aspects that you can work with and how, right?
Yeah, I actually usually say as an astrologer, astrology is a self-awareness tool. It's a symbolic language. It's not a form of worship, as how other people will dismiss it when you first introduce it to them. In fact, it predicts a lot of systems that we have right now, religion and all that, but that's
politics.
But as you know, with most things, you hide knowledge so that your people you can control the masses. So these are things that people even right now still have, maybe under the radar, even high end, or not even high end, like major corporations have.
Politicians use astrology all the time. They use energy. They work with energy.
They work with energy. Ronald Reagan had an astrologer at some point. Andrew Carnegie, for example, one of the first billionaires in America in the late 1800s and 1900s, had an astrologer who was like, you know, don't go into this. In fact, he used to work with an astrological watch, like that used to show the planets. And at that time, he had invested. We're deviating a little into the history.
No, it's okay.
Yes, he had invested in the Titanic. Just a short story. He had invested in the Titanic, and as with most investors, when you are having the maiden voyage, for example, you get like a free ride into whatever it is. Case in point, it was the Titanic, but he decided not to because certain placements at that time were against the trip itself, and we know how it all ended. Yes. So many examples you can give.
Like I wouldn't be surprised. Like every single successful, not every single, I don't know, but like a lot of successful people work with energy.
Yes,
and that's what we don't understand.
With energy. The people who are more open with it, celebrities. Because, you know, they're just in the realm of entertaining. So even if they bring certain concepts, fine. People who are more into, like, I would say, structured professions or whatnot would mostly hide them.
Right. Because it sounds just out there.
And they're like, why are you working with a mystic? In fact,
I don't accept
anyone who works with energy, they say mystic, yes.
Or witchcraft in Kenya.
I mean, semantics.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah,
So let's talk about love. You know,
Yeah.
because I'm going like second and I'm going seventh. You know.
Seventh,
Yeah. Let's talk
definitely.
about love because I feel like that's another area that a lot of people are interested in. It's
Yeah.
like, okay, why are my relationships not working? Why am I not attracting love? Is it because I have oppositions and squares and I don't have Jupiter in my seventh house or
Yeah.
Venus in my seventh house?
Yeah.
Or like what is happening there? And if somebody doesn't have planets in the seventh house, does that mean that they're doomed?
Let me start with the last one.
Right.
So completely nothing in the seventh house. I look at your chart, I see there's nothing
And
there.
the seventh house
It's
is
empty.
a house of love, by the way.
Yeah, it's the house of committed
Partnerships.
relationships. So it could be your work relationships, friendships, platonic. Although friendships is usually seen in the 11th house
yeah.
mostly, but still it's a relationship. Mostly on the love is usually seen there. But I would say if you come to me as an astrologer and I see an empty house, I don't get scared. I'm just like, okay. I usually say you have nothing to learn in that house. You've literally mastered it in your past life. That's what it actually means. You have mastered the lessons that are in that house, so there's nothing more for you to learn there. You have mastered that energy, and it's up to you to now use that energy you have learned from that house in other places in your life. So case in point, if you have... because it also depends, again, with the chart, the way it is.
Right.
Just because it's empty doesn't mean the sign is not there. So let's say, for example, you have an atypical birth chart where Aries is the first house, so you're an Aries rising. It means that you have Libra in the seventh house.
Yeah.
It means that Libra is still active there, but now the energy of the Libran energy, you already have it within you. So it's up to you to manifest it in other places in your chart. Yes.
Oh,
Yes.
I
So
love that.
you would be like, case in point, what is the ruling planet? Because every sign, Aries to Pisces is ruled by a planet. Aries is ruled by Mars. In this case, Libra is ruled by Venus. So it means the Venetian nature of that house would manifest in you.
Oh,
to other people.
that's giving me a lot of...
You're like, it's easier. It's
giving
easier.
me a lot of hope because
Yeah.
when I use, as we were talking earlier, if I use the Placidus, then my seventh house is in Libra, and I actually have a south node in Libra.
Oh,
Yeah.
it means you definitely don't need to learn. You've mastered the Libra nature in you, or you've mastered the Libran qualities in your past life. Now it's time for you to be
Master the Aries is what
you need to master
'Cause my
now.
north
You
node
need to
is in
master the
Aries.
Aries. In fact,
Yeah.
just to deviate, if your south node is in Libra, it means that you concentrated so much on relationships. So
That's-
it's time for you to
yeah.
now concentrate on yourself.
That's what it keeps telling me. That's what I like every single time. It's like independence.
Yes.
Whatever.
And that's why even when we were discussing before, you were saying, I feel like
Yeah.
in the past I would,
Yeah.
the need to.
Yes.
But the need to is not helping you.
Yeah.
You have to now
Right.
take something that's quite uncomfortable, even though it's like, now case in point, if it's the opposite. Maybe in your past life, it was all like me,
Yeah.
all me energy. And in this lifetime, they're like, no,
Right.
you need to bring other people into the picture.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. So that's why it's so important to understand, because sometimes you can just be in a victim
Yes.
state where you're just like, why
Yeah.
am I not getting this thing? Why am I not having this thing? Not understanding
Yeah.
like what energies you're working with. I
Yeah.
feel like me understanding that has
Yeah.
kind of helped me make sense of my
Yeah.
life, first of all.
Yes.
Make sense of why my life is so different from other my friends, for example, who have like a different life and different lifestyle. Understanding that my chart is unique
Yep.
and they have a unique chart as
Yes.
well.
Yes.
And so being able to see me and not compare myself to other people and the things that they've had to have in this lifetime.
Yeah.
Accept my life for what it
Accept.
is.
Yes.
And I think like a lot of that has really helped me. And I
Yeah.
feel like if people understood what is happening energetically,
Yeah.
maybe they'll be able to accept and not be in a victim state
Yeah.
for like a long time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it's part of human nature, as we say, also
Yeah.
in psychology, to gravitate towards victimhood or to reject something that is new or foreign to you, because it's like introducing an antibody. In fact, the best analogy is like saying, there's this virus, like COVID, for example. And then we have to inject you with this virus a little bit. You'll be a little bit sick, but it's going to help you to be immunized. So I would say, again, with self-awareness or astrology in general, it's just the same way. I wouldn't just batter you up and tell you, cuddle you, I would say. These are the things you need to work on, and I can guide you with this if you're so willing, because there's also free will.
Right.
Yes.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Okay, so people are not doomed in love if they don't have planets in the 7th house. It's good to know, because I feel like I see conversations online, forums of you need to have this in the 7th house in order to attract love, but it's not predictive, right?
But the greatest love is the love of self.
Right.
Because what use is it if you give out love and you don't love yourself? You'll be empty once those people are gone. And you'll be like, oh, let me just love on them or be anxious and all that. Yeah.
Is that what they do?
And they're like, please love me. And it's like, no. Look at yourself. But aside from the 7th house, so many, they have in relationships in general are affected with other houses as well. But the 7th house is the most significant if you're trying to look at now what areas am I working on. It also depends on, it also shows rather the kind of love you want. Let's use an example of, give me a sign.
Like a sign in the 7th house?
A sign that we can put in the 7th house.
Oh, like if you have Mars in the 7th house.
So if you have Mars in the 7th house, and also the sign, give me a sign.
Oh, if you have Mars in the 7th house in Sagittarius.
Nice. So it means that the Sagittarian nature is there, but also the Martian nature is there. If you know any Sagittarius, or if you know any Sagittarius qualities, very explorative, very freedom-like, very spontaneous and philosophical. And then the Mars is the planet of ambition, action, libido, drive. So if you're looking for a partner, that you would look at the Sagittarius qualities and the Martian qualities or the Mars qualities to see what you would gravitate towards. Maybe you've been going for, I'd say, structured men, and maybe, or partners rather. But in reality, what would actually work for you is someone who's spontaneous, because they maybe bring out that side of you, or they may balance you. Usually say it's not necessarily opposites attract. Sometimes same energies can work together. Yes. So sometimes even if it's looking for love, because it's the 7th house, sometimes the partners that you go towards are not growing you, I would say.
Interesting. Does that mean that then I would be more drawn to a Libra person?
Yes.
Okay.
If you have Libra, or that the qualities...
My 7th house is in Libra.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
Case in point, if you don't have any planets, still the qualities emanate. So you would show up in relationships with that Libra quality. I've just seen it as you were coming in. I saw it. Okay. But now it makes, you see, like, makes sense. Clock it. Case in point that, like, the energy you emanate, whoever they are, they will appreciate that in you. Doesn't necessarily mean they are also Libra, but it could also mean that you would also find Libran qualities in your partners attractive. Right. Because you also show
resonating.
It's resonating.
Yeah, on that level. Yeah. Okay. Amazing. So let's talk about career. Like the 10th house is the house of career, right? And public image.
Yes.
And what you're known for in this lifetime.
Yes.
Is there like a particular placement that's best to have in the 10th house? I don't know if that's like... What would be like favorable? Yeah.
What would be favorable? I would say, again, the houses remain the same.
Right.
It's like if we come tomorrow, this place will just remain the same unless something out of this world happens. So the house remains the same. So every house has a planet, which is the person. So again, understanding astrology, if you use analogies, it becomes easier. So the planets are person or people. They have certain qualities. They are... if I'm to talk about Bamzi or Ruby, for example, Ruby has certain qualities. If I take Bamzi to a certain room, she will thrive there because it's made for her. Case in point for myself as well. So in the 10th house is the house of career, public image, reputation, legacy, what people will know you for. And in the 10th house, if Aries, let's just take a typical birth chart. If Aries is in the first house, it means 10th house will be Capricorn, because Capricorn is the 10th sun sign. So what rules Capricorn? Capricorn is ruled by Saturn. So if it's in the 10th house and it's in the house of career, reputation and all that, it means that Saturn will thrive there because it's at home. It's the aesthetics in that room. Capricorn will appreciate. Will say, I like this plant. I like this green. It's not too much for me. It's my kind of taste.
Home.
It's at home. So I would say placement where Saturn is there in the 10th house would work so well, because even in the career point, if you have like, let's say Neptune in the 10th house, your career will just be like an illusionary kind of...
I think I have a Neptune in the 10th house.
You have a Neptune in the 10th house?
I think. I'll pull up my chart and I feel like I do.
We'll check.
I feel like I have both Neptune and Uranus in the 10th. I'll double check, but
we'll
check.
I
feel like...
It's still okay. It's still okay. So...
After you said...
Here we are not judging. We're listening.
Okay, go back here. If you have Neptune in the 10th house, your career
So if you have Neptune in the 10th house, it means that, the themes in that house, career, public image, are always changing. They are boundless. They are neither here nor there. One time I would meet Bamzi, she's a corporate girly. The next time she's in Bali.
That's literally me. That's what I feel like.
You see?
Yeah.
You would feel a sense of flowiness. There's a flowiness when it comes to the themes in that chart, for example. Because you have also, let's assume you also have Uranus, there's also a very rebellious and a very, I would say, transformative kind of energy, because Uranus rules transform. Okay, also transformation is in Pluto, but Uranus also rules technology, rebellion and all that. So the flowiness and the rebellion is also there.
Yeah.
So maybe it started off, maybe it could also be now you sitting down and realizing maybe the energies, not even the energies, the kind of work you do or what you want to be known for. You want to go about it in a different way from how other people have seen you.
Yeah, I feel like that's so helpful, because we are raised to be the way we are raised in, like at least in Kenya. Like maybe now parents are starting to encourage freedom and that's starting to encourage like creativity and exploration.
But it wasn't there before.
But it wasn't there before. We were raised to be like, okay, go study, become like a doctor, teacher, whatever, like the traditional.
Yeah.
Right? But somebody that has like Uranus in the 10th house or Neptune in the 10th house.
You can't tell them,
Yeah.
Study hard work, get a good job, and follow the path. Sorry.
Right. So it just keeps going back to the same thing that we're talking about. Like, it's so important for people to understand, like, what is supportive and, like, and if you don't have supportive aspects, how can you then, transform them, or can you, like, alchemize whatever you have in order so that it can support you? Yeah. I really, like, now I'm just so I'm like, I need to spread this message so that people can understand that this is a tool that they can use.
Yeah, it's a tool. Literally, actually would say it's the best gift you can give yourself. Because once you realize the self, I mean, even if someone comes and calls you or tells you, go this way, and you definitely know who you are.
Definitely have Neptune and Capricorn.
You have?
Yeah.
And Neptune, the outer planets. Let's just go. There's a certain song.
Yeah, before you go to the other planets, I actually then wanted to ask you, what are like the significant planets that have like a major influence in somebody? Because, from what I understand is that you do have personal planet, but then you have generational planets.
Yes.
So what are planets that are like more personal to a person that then tend to affect them energetically?
Okay.
Yeah.
So personal versus generational planets. Do we all remember that? My very educated mother.
Yes.
So personal planets tend to affect us from the day-to-day living, either weekly, monthly, or just yearly. Most of the time, it's day-to-day.
Right.
So that includes Moon, Mercury, Venus, and Mars. Just to explain the characteristics so that we see the connection, Moon rules our emotional well-being. So our emotions tend to change every day, every minute, sometimes every second, depending on the situation. Mercury, it rules how we communicate, how the things we do, the learning. And usually because we have retrogrades every now and then, it's not just once a year. Retrogrades that tend to be either 2 or 3 in a year. They also affect us personally. Then we have Venus. Venus also, because they're closest to the sun with Mercury, rules the aesthetics, rules the beauty of life, will also affect us personally. And then Mars, how we go about the ambitions we have in this lifetime. Those are the personal planets. Then the generational planets are the ones that are usually the outer ones, the ones farthest from the sun. And the reason as to why we say this is because they take a long time
to move from
to
one
revolve.
sign to another, right?
Yeah, to move from one sign to another and revolve around the sun. So generational planets like Neptune. Neptune takes roughly 14 years, for example. I think you and I have the same...
Maybe Pluto.
We have both. I think we have both Pluto and Neptune, because you said Neptune in Capricorn. I also remember I have Neptune in Capricorn, but in a different sign, in a different house and in a different sign. So Neptune takes roughly 14 years, for example, to revolve around the sun. So we would say that is a generational planet, because you and I and 100 other people born around the same time period would experience the same themes, but in different houses, just in a different way. Pluto, for example, Pluto is it's in fact one of the planets that actually categorize us, if I would say, into generations. Yeah. So Pluto in us, for example, if you're millennials,
you have Pluto in Scorpio.
Pluto in Scorpio.
Yeah.
If you're a Gen Z, you have Pluto in Sagittarius. If you're Gen Alpha, you have Pluto in Capricorn. Let's go back to the Mau Mau, for example. They were Pluto in Gemini. So Pluto is a very transformational planet. So if it's transformational, but in what sign? Those are the themes the generations would embody.
Like that generation would be similar themes.
Yeah,
like
similar themes in themselves and outward, because in astrology we say as above, so below.
Yes.
So let's talk about ourselves. Pluto in Scorpio, that means we're millennials, 1981 to 1996. It means that the themes of transformation in Scorpio are very deep, rising phoenix from the ashes.
Yes.
If you look at the themes between 1981 to, just say 80s and 90s, a lot of things were happening. AIDS war, pandemic, AIDS, the wars, the pandemics. The AIDS, the wars. A lot of deep, dark things were happening at that time. And that is the same energy we embodied even when we became of age or we were adults. That now have helped us to now become who we are. Because millennials, I would say, just for example, like the Pluto in Scorpio would be transformative, would move from one thing to the other quite easily, because rising from the ashes, we've done it. So it's like, why are you crying? Like, why are you running? Why are you crying?
Yeah.
As opposed to another generation that would be so detrimental for them. Case in point, like now, let's pick a generation, for example.
Like Gen Z, you hear people say Gen Z, this term is thrown out, especially with the, politics.
Politics,
recently.
yes.
Yeah.
So Gen Z, So Gen Z, Pluto in Sagittarius Pluto was in Sagittarius between 1997 to 2008. But the Gen Z is considered 1997 to 2012. Because it just doesn't shift like Pluto in Sagittarius is in this
and then it shifts
date,
like
and then the next day,
next
Pluto
month,
in Capricorn in Guinea, or come in. No, it doesn't happen like that. So Pluto in Sagittarius, very expansive, philosophical, very eccentric, very free-flowing. They're like, why are you telling us to, they're philosophical, transformative,
right, and which is what I've been seeing online.
Yeah.
Like 5 years ago, 6 years ago, you wouldn't see, like there's some discussions that I would not have seen. And I know maybe partly it's because of social media, but I think partly it's because of the generation that's now becoming adults.
Yes.
Yeah.
So with them, they embody their true nature of being Pluto in Sagittarius.
Right.
Nobody can copy them. They are who they are.
Yes.
They have mastered technology. They have mastered, content creation, I would say. I would say even the transformation of just being explorative, exploring different topics, philosophies and all that.
Yeah.
Pluto and Capricorn usually say Gen Alpha. They're the ones to rebuild society. They're the ones who we have changed the education system for because we want our kids to build a better society. And who is the archetype of the builder? Capricorn. So Gen Alpha will be the ones to take over.
That's so interesting.
Yes.
Isn't that interesting that it's
very interesting?
These things are like affecting everything, but people still deny.
No. Back in our day, I'm like, bruh, you had your time. Yes.
Oh my God, I actually find that very interesting. I hadn't even thought of, I know about like generational planets and how they affect the themes and whatever. I hadn't even thought of like the specific examples like CBC and like
CBC. I'd say even the way like Gen Alphas think, they will be pragmatic in the way that even when you're disciplining them or telling them, those certain lies used to be told as kids that if you eat seeds, they'll grow out of your ears.
Right,
and they're like, no, that's not what you were taught in school. Or maybe when you're disciplining them and they're like, no, but I didn't like how you were disciplining me. It's not pragmatic.
Yeah.
It doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
Yes. But now the kids being born, we're past Pluto in Capricorn. We're now in Pluto in Aquarius. So the kids being born for the next 20 years will be very eccentric, rebellious, revolutionary children. So let's see how they'll turn out to be.
Yeah, have you seen like some of those videos of children being shared on social media? You're like, how is this child aware? Like this child knows something.
Yes.
They're like a newborn.
Did you take something? Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, definitely.
Yeah.
So right now, the next 20 years from 2024 to 2044 to 2045, we have now Pluto in Aquarius.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Amazing. So now we've talked about how like personal planets affect somebody, and what about like a stellium, right? A stellium, like when you have so many planets in one house.
Yeah.
So for example, if you have several planets in the 6th house, all your personal planets are in the 6th house, like how would that manifest?
It would manifest as a lot of that energy being poured out through you and the things you do and the people you interact with. Let's take an example of which sign have we not talked about?
Let's say you have
Leo.
Yeah.
You would, if you have a Leo stellium, you would show up as a very bold, charismatic. Think Leo 5.0 on steroids.
Right.
Literally, if you have like Sun, Moon, Mercury, Venus, Mars, it means the way you show up, how you shine, you'll be a Leo. How you show up for yourself emotionally will be a Leo. How you go about the ambitions in your life, your Mars will be a Leo. How you love is a Leo. So it means, technically a stellium means three or more planets. 3 or more planets in one sign. And what that means is that in this lifetime, you're being called, because you can decide not to do anything about it.
Yeah, free will.
Free will. You're being called to learn or master that energy. Yes. So if you decide to master that energy, you can easily dish it out to other areas of your chart. Yes. But at the same time, as with all things, too much of everything is poisonous, as they say. Sometimes stelliums can make you burn out, because it's like having 5 tabs open talking about the same things. I'm like, where am I supposed to concentrate on?
Interesting. How does that feel like, or like the burnout? How would that feel like? How would somebody understand that it's because I have all this energy in this house?
Okay, let's take, for example, you have like 5 planets, Mars, Sun, Mars, Mercury, Venus, and maybe even Pluto. It means how you go about those certain themes, it's in one way, when in reality, sometimes you have to use another way for you to get the solution you want.
Right.
So if you're aware that sometimes whatever, let's take for example, one of the planets in the stellium is like Pluto. You have a Pluto is generational, you can't change. Mars in Leo. Maybe you go about being very out there and bold and charismatic, but sometimes situations would come where you would require to first think about the situation, see the best option, and then move about with it. Yes. So I would say learning about it, there are also gifts to it. As with everything, there are challenges, there are pros and cons. Gifts means that if they're looking for someone who wants to be, they're talking about a Leo and the qualities, because Leo rules creativity, passion, and expression. We don't have to look for anyone else. We'll find you. So you get the skills, the attributes, and the passions of that from there.
Oh my gosh, I feel like I've learned, even though of course I've been involved in astrology, like in my personal life, I've never, I do pull up charts whenever I meet people. I'm like, let's pull up your chart. Let's, and they're like, oh, they expect a reading from me. And I'm like, no, I'm not, I can't read you, but like we can pull up like using Astro Cafe and then we read whatever description. And they are always like accurate and people are like surprised.
They're
and
surprised,
all of that. Like even though I do that, I feel like there's so much that I've learned today. So I definitely would want to, there's so many things we didn't talk about that I would want to dive into. And I think it helps because I already understand a lot of things. So it helps me, it gives me like a deeper understanding.
A deeper understanding. It's just like learning to drive a bigger car.
So I really appreciate this conversation.
I appreciate it.
We've been talking for maybe an hour and unfortunately we do have to go. I really, really loved this conversation.
Thank you as well.
You know, for people that want to find you, you know, and work with you and do astrology readings, how can they find you?
Okay, so on all platforms, I am Ruby the Astrologer. So you can find me I write articles on now the application of astrology on rubytheastrologer.wordpress.com. You can find me on Instagram as ruby.the.astrologer. And then on TikTok, I'm just starting out as Ruby the Astrologer. Yes.
Wonderful. So if you want to work with Ruby, like if you listen to this episode and you're like, oh my gosh, like I actually need right now for my belt chart to be read so that I can get some guidance, definitely reach out to Ruby. And I'm also going to actually include her socials in the description box so you can check her out, get a reading with her. If you don't know your birth time, I think she has a way that she can work with you. Like, I think she mentioned that she uses midday or something like that. And, of course, if you ever want to do a rectification, you know, you can also reach out to me and I can, like, share, like, links with you in order for you to do that. If you're watching this, subscribe to our YouTube channel. If you're listening on Apple and Spotify, rate us and give us your feedback because we would love to hear from you. And if there's something that we didn't talk about, definitely get back to me with your feedback and we'll be happy to include that in our next discussion. Thank you for watching. Thank you for listening. Until next time, it's been wonderful. Thank you so much, Ruby. We hope today's conversation resonated with you, brought you a sense of clarity, and maybe even challenged you to reflect further on your healing and spiritual journey.
If it touched something in you, we'd be so grateful if you left us a 5-star rating on Apple or Spotify. And if you're on YouTube, share your thoughts in the comments. We'd love to hear your reflections or suggestions for future topics.
You can find our socials and email in the episode description. We always love hearing from you. Until next time, take gentle care of your soul, mind, and body.